We're in the Suzuki Jimny. Small, mighty, and actually a commercial vehicle. So let's get off the forecourt and let's take it for a little drive and tell you guys all about it. Well, here we are, the Suzuki Jimny. It's only got a 1.5 litre petrol engine and it's only got a 5-speed gearbox. But that petrol engine puts out massive figures of 101 brake horsepower and 130 Newton meters of torque. So the Jimny, what is it? Well, it's a very small little 4x4. This was actually designed originally to be a 4-seater. To have rear seats and so on, but because of emissions and various other bits in the world these days, it wasn't able to be sold as a passenger vehicle in the UK. So what they've done, they've actually converted it to be a van. So hence why you have this cage, no rear seats, and this is classed as a commercial vehicle. So with that in mind, it's they still kept it as a little 4x4 really underneath. The little, the 1.5 litre engine is a naturally aspirated one as well, I should add, is mainly putting power just to the rear wheels like it would in a pickup truck. However, it has actually got a proper 4-wheel drive system which you can put it in. And obviously if you put it into 4-wheel drive, it then connects the front wheels to be driven as well. But from normal day-to-day driving, it's just the rear wheels being used. You have also got a 4-wheel drive low-range gearbox as well, part of it. So you really can take this off-road. Today, unfortunately, I haven't got anywhere where I can take it to really show you how capable it is off-road, but there are other videos out on YouTube which really do show its capability. It wasn't designed for cornering on a tarmac road, this, but obviously underneath it, it's blatantly designed to be used off-road. Despite the size, it does pack a punch off-road. But going around these corners at the moment, like, I'm not going fast, I'm doing well within the speed limits. I'm only doing about 45 miles an hour going around these. They're not even twisty corners, it's just a normal A road, I guess. But it feels like I'm land yachting. It's probably the best way to explain it. There's quite a lot of body roll, lean. It doesn't help where you've got very skinny tyres with a very high profile, and they are actually road tyres that come as standard on this. Obviously, a lot of people would probably change those out to be off-roading tyres, just so you can actually maximise the use of the 4-wheel drive system and everything else as well. But yeah, the standard setup is a bit soft, so you won't get much. The steering's really light, I will give you that. It's a very nice feel to drive, but you just get this very wobbly effect, which I'm not going to complain too much, only because it's not really designed to be a hot hatch or a supercar, or it's not designed for that. It's designed completely different reasons. So yeah, it's actually very cozy and comfortable in here. Admittedly, I'm 5'8", and I know that's probably, I'd like to think, the standard average of you can see it's not fast, we've got people overtaking. But where I was going with this, with the driving position, is I'm only 5'8", and if you are much taller, you have to compromise your driving position in a way of, do you push the chair back and keep the back upright so you can get more leg room, or do you have your knees hitting the dashboard and everything else just so you can recline a bit more? I'm very comfortable in here, but I can imagine if you're a little bit taller, you may struggle, especially because you've got that cage just behind you. And that cage is there, obviously, so you can load up the back, and if you do have to do an emergency stop or something like that, everything's not going to come flying forward into the cabin. Inside the cabin, so again, it's very basic, but it's got very hard-wearing materials. It's designed to be, I don't know, it's not the most luxurious thing in here. The steering wheel is actually quite comfy and quite nice to hold, if I'm honest. It's got a little bit of softness underneath the, well, I'm not going to say it's leather, it's like imitation leather on the steering wheel. It's not supposed to be leather in any sort of way, but it's got this slight plasticky, spongy effect, similar to the Fords if you've driven any of those before. But the rest of the dashboard is very hard wearing and everything else. The only downside I would say is, considering this is quite a new vehicle, Yes, obviously you get DAB radio, but it's so basic. Like, I would have thought you got this space for it, and I'm presuming there are kits out there where you can actually swap the whole centre because it's got the space for it. But I wish they had a proper screen, say Apple CarPlay or anything else like that, because if you are using this as a commercial vehicle for your daily jobs and so on, then you would want to have your maps on there and everything else, because if you're using it for, say, deliveries and stuff like that, you're going to be putting in a lot of addresses and using it. So I think they've missed a trick there, if I'm truly honest, because I think that's for the use of the vehicle. If you're exploring, even if you're going off-road, you want to have your dials on there or extra information or your routes, and to me, I feel they've missed a trick, and that should have been a bit more of a priority. The seats, they, again, for my size of human, they're holding me in quite well, even though they look like, I don't know, they don't look as if they're going to hold you in. They actually do quite well, in all fairness. Like, I would happily, you're not going to be in a rush driving this, are you? So yeah, it's very cozy, it's very nice, and it's mainly designed for purpose, the Jimny, rather than actually, it's not designed as a luxurious vehicle. It's more, it's quite comfortable. I'm going across quite a bumpy road at the moment, and it's soaking up the bumps quite well, and hopefully it's coming across on the camera, which I can see it's moving and wobbling a little bit, but hopefully it's quite obvious that actually it's a very comfortable ride in here. If I'm honest, it's a bit noisy to a certain degree. Well, not noisy, but like, there's not much sound insulation. However, it also doesn't need much. You only notice it when you're doing, say, 60 to 70 miles an hour, and actually you've just got a lot of wind turbulence as well. That's when I feel it's noticeable. But let's be honest, it's not that aerodynamic. It's like a brick. So, of course, it's going to generate wind noise and everything else like that. But overall, my initial impressions of the Jimny, it's a very fun vehicle to drive. I can see why there's a whole ecosystem around them and a fan base, and why people modify them, and people even convert them into overlanding campers and stuff. I've seen them with like the awnings on the side, the LED light bars, roof tents, because off-road it's a very capable vehicle, especially that four-wheel drive system. It's something which shouldn't be underestimated. Okay, yeah, it's got a 1.5 litre engine, but you don't need much more power. There's nothing that can really go wrong, in all fairness, with this. So it's a very stripped down car, but I like it. It's a really fun, it's just a really fun vehicle. And yeah, there's definitely a market for them, and I love them. If you've ever wanted to test out the Jimny, which we have today, obviously contact Ottervale Motor Services and come and take it for a test drive.